Yeah, there really is no way to talk about this movie without spoilers, so spoilers. So about halfway through Joker 2 La Ja, I started wondering if Hollywood was playing 4D chess. Because genuinely my interest in seeing this movie was non-existent until the drumbeat of early reviews started to kick in. It's like, nah, I'm not interested, dude, it's strangely off the mark. Ooh, is it? Nah, I didn't like the first one, so it's confoundingly misguided. Is that so? By the transitive property of not liking the first one, maybe I'll like it. I don't really want to go to a movie theater. Did Todd Phillips legitimately make this movie out of spite? Well, what if I go see the movie out of spite? Between this and Megalopolis, I'm starting to wonder if there's a genuine market in dispassionate film nerds eager to be a part of whatever the car crash is. If not to feel a connection to the art, then at least to feel something. It's hard not to feel that way, as no one seems to want to talk about this movie except for the flood of video essays I've seen ripping it apart, and I guess tangentially I'm also joining them. But it's hard not to feel like, especially with Joker 2, all that is by design. Yeah, the movie is not a pleasant experience. It's boring, Arthur's regressed completely from his arc in the first movie, and what happens to him seems to be conceptually disconnected from whatever the first movie was trying to say. But like the first movie, it's beautifully shot and magnificently scored. For some reason, very talented people all got involved to wallow in something very off-putting. Not dramatically off-putting to send a message, not off-putting to give the hero even more to overcome by the end, not off-putting in the way that the Coen brothers might occasionally tell a tense story that doesn't go anywhere, seemingly to call attention to the chaos of the real world. Just off-putting. There's too many good sequels that take the themes of the original into fun and exciting directions to not feel like our ticket price should come with some kind of return on investment. I went back and I watched a little bit of The Dark Knight, and it is interesting to watch Heath Ledger's incarnation and to see how much better fit the Joker character is in service to a larger story. A delicious garnish on an already good meal. And yeah, these Joker movies are doing something different, but it's remarkable to go from one to the other to see just how satisfying the character is in bursts, rather than long, unobstructed takes that don't introduce anything to the story, rather than, yeah, he's still sad. The musical aspect was particularly confusing. Look, I'm a musical theater guy, and I just have to say, I think more of you are musical theater people than you think. 90% of the people who say they don't like musicals just haven't found that one that speaks to them yet. My issue was the lack of commitment. Only one or two of the dozen-plus musical interludes even begin to embrace the format. 20 years ago, movies like Chicago were showing what was possible with manifesting the psyche into lavish numbers with choreography, set design, using the medium of film to get close, pull away, really have fun. And again, audiences by now have just seen too many good musicals for this to pass as anything beyond the characters occasionally trading dialogue for karaoke. Lady Gaga was very good with what she was given, though with her true origin reveal, I lost track on what her motivations actually ended up being. Maybe I missed it, but it seemed like a sloppy narrative choice to reveal a main character was lying, but then just kind of move on as if the reason she was lying wasn't important and she still wants the same thing. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. And then there was the ending, which I think people dislike because, specifically, of how hard the first movie and the first half of the second movie worked to get us all to forget about Batman. By the end of the movie, I'm so uninterested in this universe being connected to the source material. You won, guys. The first movie, I was confused. Is this the Joker? Is it not the Joker? The age gap between him and Bruce? But by the end of this movie, I was on board. This is not connected to anything in the DC trademark universe. I'm never going to see a bat signal. Catwoman's not going to cartwheel by. Got it. Oh, never mind. We're introducing the real Joker. This is the beginning of a spandex-wearing crime fighter world. Which is weird enough, but it gets worse when you think about who the Joker is in this universe, because Arthur is national news. The whole Joker thing, that's a big story. So if you play things out, then not only is this technically a Joker origin story, but this Batman and everyone in Gotham know this guy was inspired by the sad skinny clown dude that everyone remembers from the 80s. He's already an imposter. So I walked away from the first movie not really knowing what I was supposed to take away from it. Untreated mental illness bad? Sure, but Arthur seemed to find himself by the end and revel in what he became. Were we supposed to be happy for him? And the one thing that I would say I think this movie carried on from the first one is that I walked out of the theater unsure of what the filmmaker wants me to go home with. I think the reason that everyone's assuming he's trolling us is because that's actually easier than figuring out what his genuine motivation for making this movie might have been. I'm glad I saw it, but I don't want to get used to seeing a movie in the theaters purely so I can be a part of the autopsy of confounding art. I'm not going to go see Megalopolis. I might go see Megalopolis.